It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. I'm talking TV. I'm talking movies. I'm talking anime, cartoons, sci-fi, and fantasy. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the E.A.R. Chronicles with your boy Eric. I'm excited. Am I really excited? I'm excited to be back here, going live for the first time. This is my first time going live on this channel, so I'm excited to do that. So if you catch this stream, you love X-Men, whatever, hop in, have your questions, talk your talk, whatever you need to do. I'm here to be here to chit chat with y'all. If not, that's cool. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it pushing. But this episode is a hard one. It's a hard one because episode 5, man. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just really deflating, disparaging. We're all morose, we're all mourning, we're all grieving. This was a tough one, but it was so good. It was so good. We can't deny it. It was so good. So we're gonna get into it because listen, not only was it devastating that last half, but let me tell you, all the way up until that point, messy, messy, messy. And I'm talking soap opera, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, messy. Okay, it don't get no better than that. It don't get any better than that. So I'm excited to jump into it. And I'd love to hear all of your thoughts in the comments. So if you coming by, please leave those comments because I want to hear them. I want to hear them. And we're gonna get into it. So as soon as I get this little tweet popped off, okay? Because look, I'm a one-man show right now, okay? So I gotta do everything for myself. I didn't have nobody to ever clean it up. So I gotta do it all by myself. That's a meme. If you don't know, by the way, I love memes and video clips. So sometimes I talk in meme, and it's just one of those Fantasia clips that I really like. So put that out there. Boom. All right. So let's get into it. So let me put these little notes up. All right. So we started in episode 5, and we get Trish Tilby, the reporter, and she's interviewing the X-Men. She done pulled up to the mansion, y'all, talking about, we're going to interview the X-Men so we can show the world that they're just humans and they can live among us and there's nothing to be afraid of. And I'm like, I get it, X-Men are the cream of the crop, they the good guys, they do the right thing. But it's like, why do they have to keep proving to y'all that they're the good ones? Why do they have to put themselves in their best, their best suits and they put their best smile on and kind of just, yeah, come on, we got to show you, we have to prove to y'all that we're not, they're not human, but prove to the humans that they're worthy. Prove to the humans that they deserve to live a comfortable and regular life as anyone else. They shouldn't have to be afraid. But it's neither here nor there. I mean, well, it is going to be there in a minute because Scott took it there. And I'm glad he did. But so she's giving this little tour. She's showing them the mansion, telling them a little bit about it. She's making bees blush, and she's going through all the things. And good for her, I guess, But I don't really care about that. We get to Genosha. Hey viewers, I don't know who the viewers are, but those who are watching, I appreciate you. If you want to leave some comments, please leave them. Interact with me as I go through my notes in the rundown of the episode. So then we get to the Genosha visit, and I'm excited to see Genosha. It's different than when we saw it last in the animated series. So they pull up in the new Blackbird, and they're greeted by Dr. Cooper, who she acted a little funny. I don't know about this one. Something about her. It's just the way she kind of received Magneto when he stepped off the thing. Like, he didn't just save her life, but she kind of greeted him a little coldly. So I don't know about that. But everyone else, Madeline comes, and so she's on the council. So Madeline didn't up and got her new life. She's on the council for Genosha, and she quickly lets Magneto know, like, hey, we got us a little private meeting, and we want you there. And Gambit, suspicious as always, he like, when Magneto become mutant MVP? So we're gonna see how to turn out. Because I was like, okay, Magneto to kind of, gain favor with the people. But again, Dr. Hooper, not too happy about that. So we're gonna save her for a little bit later. So he gets taken away, and then Nightcrawler comes. Our favorite furry blue friend. Is he our favorite, or is Beast our favorite furry blue friend? Regardless, he's a fave. So Nightcrawler comes, and he whisks Rogue and Gambit away to show them the city and all that it has to offer. He taking them on the mountaintops. He taking them on the buildings. He took them through the market. And we see a lot of great cameos from like Pixie. We see Leech from the Morlocks. We see Exodus. We see multiple man. He out there voguing in the streets. We see Dazzler. There were a lot of great cameos that we got to see as they're doing this like little tour of the city and getting the lay of the land and whatnot. And one important moment that happens while Dazzler is singing and Rogue goes off to like kind of enjoy the show. Magneto, Nightcrawler, he sees Gambit kind of staring at Rogue, and he's like, why don't you just marry her and be done with it? You doing all these games, you looking and staring and longing for her, and you want her, just marry her. And he like, listen, scoundrels like me, we don't get the white picket fence reward. And in hindsight, looking back after having watched the episode 4 times now, am I obsessed to have watched this episode 4 times? Like, does that make me a masochist? Because I know how it ends, right? I'm obviously devastated, but then I go back and watch it 3 more times. That might make me a little bit of a masochist. Like, why am I torturing myself? But it was just that good. And so he's like, yeah, scoundrels like me, we don't get the good reward. And looking back at it, poor Gambit. Then we move on. We're back at the mansion. Trish is still doing her interview. She's talking to Scott, and she kind of wants him to start telling her about how him and Jean kind of met. How did their love story start? So he's kind of giving her the build up to that. But in the meantime, they cut away to Jean. She in the water. I was like, what they doing? I thought it was, first of all, I thought it was Madeline like spying. I was like, how Madeline get back to the mansion? She under the water spying on the people. But it was Jean in the water trying to sift through her memories to try to pinpoint which ones were exactly hers as opposed to which ones were Madeline's. So as she's doing this, Wolverine pulls up. And so they're kind of talking, and, she's kind of explaining to him that she's getting acquainted with her powers again and what she's doing out there. And in the midst of all that, she's also telling Wolverine how when she first got possessed with the Phoenix and what brought her back. Because and they're actually telling the story in tandem. So Scott is telling the story from his point of view. She's telling it from hers. So as Scott is saying things like she uses the power of the Phoenix to hold back the force of my optic blast so she can see my eyes. And she's like, I felt this power I've never felt before. And that I was able to use this power to, push his eyes back so I could see his eyes. And those eyes are what kept me grounded. Those eyes are what brought me back. And it's really beautiful how they had this dichotomy of the story, because it was almost as if they were next to each other, finishing, but showing their different perspectives. But it gets to a point where Jean is just like, she's just unsure. She's not sure what's going on. She's never had this issue. And Wolverine's like, if anybody knows about memory loss and memory problems, it's me. And as they're talking, she kisses him. And I'm like, Jean, what you doing? You can't be kissing this man. Your husband upstairs. And Wolverine, surprisingly, he was like, oh, you had just had a momentary lapse in judgment. You forgot yourself for a second. Eugene Gray, that's Scott Summers. That's how the rules are. That's the rules. So go get your Boy Scout. And so they leave, and she's kind of just in shock or whatever that she did that. Like, girl, you know you did. You knew what you were doing. So that happens. And we're back to the interview with Trish. I'm calling her Tish. I'm going to just mix her name. Trish Tilby, whatever. TT. Her name TT. From here on out, TT. TT, the reporter. She starts getting nosy. She starts to asking Scott, so tell me about your baby. How was fatherhood? We know you had a baby. And Scott like, I ain't had no baby. And she like, she looked at her reports like, our reports say that you had a baby. Nathaniel Charles Summers. Is that correct? And what she say that for? Scott was like, you know what? Forget this. I'm not doing this interview. I'm tired of you people. Yeah, he hit him with that you people. I'm tired of pretending to be normal. He's like, I had to send my child away because of y'all, because y'all won't let us live in peace. And you people better be lucky. Oh, I think better be lucky. He said, oh, Scott wasn't playing with them. He said, y'all are lucky because if he really wanted to, we could do some damage. If we could do some damage. And I ain't never seen this version of Scott before. And I actually like it. It makes him more complex. It shows more depth to his character. It also shows his struggles. And I appreciate that aspect of what they've been showing us with Scott lately. They gave us in those first 2 episodes, they kind of gave his leadership skills and his abilities on a different level. But I really like this deeper side to Scott. And I appreciate the way they've done this one. And so after he storms off in the middle of the interview, because they all like, wait, what did we say? What did we do wrong? Why he storming off like that? He didn't basically cuss Trish out. He didn't cuss TT out on national television. This is on television, y'all. This ain't just no fireside chat with the president. Like, this is live. Cameras are rolling. Okay. They heard it all, saw it all. And that ain't all they gonna hear and see. So after he storms off, we shift back to Genosha, and Magneto, after he's asked to, join the council and whatnot, they pull him in the room and they're like, we need you to be the leader, pretty much. Like, we want you to be the leader. This is what Charles would have wanted. And he was like, you know what? I don't really care for diplomacy and politics, but I'll do it on one condition, is that Rogue joins me. And so that was his condition. Then we flip back to Scott up in his room, sitting up in his room. And Jean comes in. And he's sitting there. And so he starts talking about how much he misses the baby. He can't see color. Not Scott colorblind. We know Scott. But he said he can't see anything. But when he's up there, he can see the baby. He can see his hair. He can see his eyes. And as him and Madeline, oops, I didn't spoil it. As him and Jean, quote, quote, are talking, she's like, I get it, Scott. You're grieving. Like, it's your baby, and it's our baby. And it's reminding you of us. And so he holding his hand, they start kissing. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Because earlier, Jean did mention to Wolverine that Scott's grieving. That's why they've been distant from each other. And so I'm like, oh, okay, she took his advice because Wolverine said, go get your man. And so I'm thinking she went up and got her man, right? Wrong. Here come Jean. Don't even try to explain it. I don't want to hear it. Bust through in the mind. Whole time, Scott was cheating on Jean in the mind. But that wasn't Jean. That was Madeline. Up in the bed kissing on him. He was kissing on Madeline. He done took her in the mind. So Jean's like, don't even try to explain this. So she's like, Madeline, would you excuse me? I need to talk to this man. And so she kicks her out. And simultaneously, Madeline comes back to herself, but she's still in the council meeting, right? Back in Genosha. And Shaw is like, you okay? She's like, oh no, my mind's just drifted. Here go Emma Frost. Oh, by the way, yeah, Emma's here, y'all. Emma's here. Emma's like, mind drifting. Indeed. Emma called it. Y'all, I got that was funny. The way they put that in there, perfection. Because we all know. I told y'all before, I'm not a comics person, but I've read up on a lot of things. And so I know that Scott and Emma have a psychic rapport as well. And so the fact that she picked up on Madeline doing that thing with Scott, so she like, I got the tea, sis. And she probably filing it away. So if we do get a skimmer, I think that's what their ship is called, skimmer. I don't like that. I guess it's better than Emmett, whatever. But if they get together, this may be laying the foundation. But Emma clocked it. She caught that tea of what was going on. So we go back to Jean arguing with Scott. So she's like, how long it's been? See, I told you, it's like she caught him cheating. How long it's been, Scott? You want to go there? Go to Genosha. Go. Pack your bag. Get out. She hit her with a JoJo. Leave, get out right now. This is the end of you and me. That's kind of what she hit him with. And he's like, it's just been a month. I just was trying to check on her when she moved across seas, and it just kind of happened. Like every cheating man. That's all they do. That's how they explain it away. They always say it just happened. It's always it just happened. It's never that I just didn't feel connected to you no more, Jean. And I just kind of, we wanted him to be honest. But I get Scott. He is grieving. He's grieving. So I got to give him some bail. I got to give him just a little bit of bail. And so as they're having this conversation, she pretty much was like, so you want my clone? Go get my clone. Remember I told you those cameras were rolling? Caught it all, saw it all. The world and saw it all. Pretty much so now the world know that Jean Grey got a clone. So she storms out. He follows her. And she was like, so do you want her? Like, what's up, Scott? Like, just tell me the truth. What's up? And he was like, do you love me? I love both of you. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. And she said, and this line was powerful. She says, whole galaxies beckon me, Scott. But I turn my back to you. I turned back for you, Scott. The galaxies were calling me. And I came back because of you. And then Sinister cuts out a piece of me and you love it? She ate with that. She ate him up. But then he come back with, do you love me? Or just like the idea, a memory of me. He says, she's like, I do love you, Scott. He said, do you wait. She's like, I remember. He said, you remember or you feel it? Ooh. She said, don't try to turn this back on me. But that was good. That was kind of cold. He said, do you remember just loving me or do you actually feel the love? He kind of clocked her tea because she kind of ain't really feeling it, unfortunately. But again, you the one that was cheating, not her. So, well, she did kiss Logan. So, do the pros. Sometimes people do that. They be doing something on the side and then try to come back. So do y'all think she was being hypocritical? Let me know in the comments, because I've seen a lot of people say that they feel like she was being hypocritical. And I can see that. I can see her being hypocritical because she did kiss Logan like 2 minutes ago before she found out that Scott, but she was going back to Scott. But see, that's why I got to give her some bail, because she did go back for him. Like, that's why she caught him cheating anyway, because Logan said, go get your man. So she was go get her man and found him cheating. So that was that soap opera drama foolishness that was going on. But in the midst of this, in the midst of their fight, there's a psychic attack. Like, it's almost like she got shot in the head or something. Like you saw this beam of light just kind of shoot her through the head. So I was like, where'd that come from? But hold that, because it's going to have significance later on. So as we move from that, then we have a conversation with Rogue and Gambit. Hold on. Make sure. Lies Rogue and Magneto have a conversation first. They had a conversation first, and he was kind of basically telling her that how he wanted her to rule beside him, and she was like, "This is all you wanted the whole time, Eric. You was trying to just take control, butter your way up in here, just so you can be the leader." He was like, "No, I'm not going to deny that I love you, basically, but I just want you to know that, you know, regardless if you choose me again, but you know that you gonna always have a place here, pretty much." And that he still wanted her to rule regardless of who she chose. Forgot about the conversation. Rogue and Gambit conversation. Now, this is where they start kind of yanking on our heartstrings a little bit. At least mine. I don't know if they were yanking on y'all's, but they were yanking on mine. And so Rogue starts to kind of give Gambit some back history between how her and Eric met, how, you know, his powers negate hers, and that's why they're able to touch. So if you remember from the animated series, I think it was called Rogue's Tale in season 2, I believe, maybe season 3, one of those seasons. And it was just kind of showing us how Mystique took Rogue under her wing, was helping her use her powers. But then this episode showed us more of that how she introduced her to Eric or Magneto, and how they began a relationship where he was initially just trying to get her to be more comfortable as well with her powers, but he also, you know, he wanted her, and she wanted him at the time, but she said his demons was too much for her, that she couldn't deal with his foolishness and hers too. She's still working out her own problem. They both need to be in therapy. It's really what she was saying. He need therapy, I need therapy. He ain't getting it, I ain't got it, I gotta leave him. And so she found the X-Men, and she said he pretty much act like we didn't exist after that. He told me he didn't want me to lose another family, so he disappeared, act like we didn't exist, and I did too. And Gambit was pretty much, he was like, "Listen, Cher, I understand that, Cher. I can respect that, you know. Oh, Gambit here, I get it. But Cher, tell me the truth, Cher. Tell me the truth. I'm just your swamp rat, huh?" And she was like, he's like, "I just played the swamp rat." And I played your share, Remy. I played your share. But seeing you and all the expectations and all the things that I could do. I just love that country Southern accent. Love it. And pretty much, so she get down on, she's crying at this point. She's cried, she bawling her eyes out. So she goes to him. He's like, "I could share, we could make it work pretty much." He was, I want to love you. He's like, "You know how I feel about you." And she's like, "Listen, I can't touch you, Remy. Your heart may beat for me, but I can't feel it. You light up everything you touch, but never me." Y'all, that line. You light up everything, because you know his powers, for those who may be new, Gambit's ability to charge any object with kinetic energy. That's what he can do. So she's like, "You light up everything, but me, never me." And he says, here he gets back, "Some things a little bit deeper than skin, Cher." But Gambit is respectful. Here's the thing. I know they portray him as a swamp rat, but Gambit is really respectful. He was like, "Listen, after all that, Cher, I understand. But from this point forward, we just here friends, all right, mon ami?" So she's no longer Cher. She's mon ami, his friend. And so they agree to be friends. And they walk off to the party. And after this party, we see the big ball, basic, useless, don't ever want to do nothing watcher, bubble-headed self sitting up in the sky, just watching and looking and staring. So we know I should have known. Well, I missed him the first time because I wasn't paying attention to him. Because again, not a comic book watcher, so I didn't really see what was getting ready to happen. Never saw it coming. But when I went back and watched it, I saw his little big head stuff sitting up there just looking, just in the way. And so fireworks are going. The gala has pretty much started. Everybody busted out they finest threads, baby. Like they look good. Everybody looking good, right? And so Magneto's talking to Shaw and Emma, and here come Dr. Cooper. And this is where she pissed me off. But Magneto clocked her good. So she come up to him like, "It's a shame that they over here letting nations allow terrorists to be leaders now. And he like, but your nation, y'all human nations, allow y'all leaders to be terrorists. Uh-oh. Clock it. Clock it. Ate her up. Because if we look at it in reality, y'all know I always got to bring it back to the real world, the parallels to the real world, right? Because that's what X-Men does. If we look at society, how many of these world leaders are responsible for the death of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or millions of people, whether present or past or present, are responsible for the death or genocides of millions of people, countless. And so we as humans have let leaders be terrorists with impunity. Yes, back in the day, we had the Hitlers and the Stalins and all them, and the Bin Ladens and all those like that. And we've taken care of those things and stuff like that, but they've resulted in world wars. But the people allowed them to be terrorists. And if it weren't for different powers that be, that was like, oh, we can't let this happen, it's going too far. What was the number that let the rest of the world know that was too far? Was it 500,000? Why wasn't 20 enough? Why wasn't 30 enough? Why wasn't 500 or 1,000, 2,000 enough? Why did it have to get up to millions and millions before y'all felt like it was something to step into? But I digress. Magneto was pretty much calling a spade a spade. Y'all worried about him, who was a terrorist, but was he really a terrorist? Okay, he was causing trouble in the animated series, not gonna lie. But all Magneto has ever wanted was to be left alone. He wanted to be left alone. He wanted the mutants to be left alone. Still do. And so they need to let that man live. He's trying. Magneto is actively trying. So they need to let him go and leave him alone. But with Dr. Cooper, something hurt attitude. Because then they were like, don't worry, like you worried, because she mad because she wasn't on the council because they put Moira, because she's trusted. We trust Moira McTaggart. Okay, that's the trusted one. That's an ally. So they mad because she the chancellor, and they didn't put Dr. Cooper on the board. And so they were like, he asked the X-Men, it's going to be Rogue. Enters Rogue in her dress, her flowing gown, her hair all done up. Magneto flies up there. They start dancing, and they just got their little pas de deux. That's French. They little pas de deux going, and they flirt, twirling and flying, and they start kissing. And Gambit gets up and leaves because Madeline was talking to him for a little bit. And so he gets up and leaves. Then, as he leaves and they twirling in the sky, we hear a sound that sounds like Cable. But at the same time, there's another psychic attack. It's almost like they getting a shot in the head by like a laser beam or something. So she has a psychic attack similar to Jean's, but then her nose starts to bleed. And so she runs out. Right. And then Cable appears. He's like, get out, stop the music. That's what the sound was saying. Cut the music, cut the music. And he gets there. He's like, y'all got to get out. Everybody, get as many people as you can. He's coming. He's coming. He sees Madeline. He rushes up to her. And she's like, oh my God. She sees his eye. It's you. He's like, Mom, you got to get out. And then his time band sends him back. He's like, he's coming. He's coming. And in the background, you see these blast of green light, and it's like, that don't look like fireworks, that look like destruction. And destruction it was, because he gets snapped back to his reality. He's like, I've tried, not again. He gets snapped back, and in the middle of this, boom, this green blast just shatters everything in the middle of the dance and all that stuff. And we see what Gambit calls a vile Godzilla sentinel that's attacking right now, and anybody that goes up against it end up dead. And so we see Shaw's body, we see Dazzler body, I believe, we see all these different bodies, just bodies, him, her, bodies piling up, and as they're trying to get their bearings, Banshee like, get everybody to the guard. He got Mero in his arms. Get it, Banshee, get everybody to the guard. Sentinel then took him out midair. Lord Jesus, it started getting bad. And so Magneto's like, listen, we got to save as many people as possible, because we will not be like, we could have saved more if we had to just acted quickly. And Gamble's like, hey, the Morlocks are stuck in the bay, right up underneath the Sentinels. And Magneto remembered that he promised them that they wouldn't have to worry no more. And so he's like, we're going to get the Morlocks if it's the last thing I do, if it's the last thing we do. So what y'all going to do is, y'all go get him. I'm going to distract the Sentinel because I'm him. He going to distract him. Y'all go save the Morlocks. And so they start taking off. And I love, like, listen, Gambit showed out with his powers. I've never seen his powers on display the way they've shown it. And this X-Men97, once again, brilliantly done. The way they are showcasing the powers of these mutants. And so, yeah, we know he throw these little cards and stuff, but no, we see him throwing cards, slicing off necks and stuff like that. And then I'll get into a little bit more about what he did with some powers outside of the norm. But so they go rescue him and Rogue, tag teaming the real Bonnie and Clyde. He on a motorcycle, she in the air, she taking Sentinel head, throwing them, she body slamming them into the walls, and he throwing cards and slicing heads. And Magneto, he like, okay, I'm gonna show you I'm the master of magnetism. So he start throwing everything at the, he's fighting, he's throwing everything he can at the Sentinel. Ain't nothing phasing it, by the way. And we see Dr. Cooper just in the streets. Oh, this way, go, come on. Want a sense of urgency. She want to act like she was scared and all that stuff. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. But so as they get to him, so Gambit eventually gets to the Morlocks, but before he gets there, oh, Leech has my heart, y'all. Leech is saying, he's talking to the Morlocks. They're like, we're gonna die in here pretty much. They thought they were gonna die. They were abandoned. He's like, Callisto will find us. Oh, Callisto dead. He don't know because she was one of the bodies that we saw. Rest in peace, Callisto. But he's like, if it's not her, Magneto will save us because he promised that Leech would not be scared again. Oh my God. Then Gambit busts through, saves them, well, gets them out of the area that they're in. And boom, Magneto gets slammed to the ground. Godzilla Sentinel is here. It's upon him. The Morlocks, for some reason, instead of running away, they ran to him. Oh, I forgot to mention, when Magneto was taking on the Sentinel by himself and he got knocked out, right? So he gets knocked into the statue of Professor X, because there's a huge statue on Genosha with him and Magneto. He gets knocked into Professor X's statue, which topples over onto the top of a group of mutants. First of all, why y'all just stand there? They were just standing there like the little, the Summer Walker meme. They just sit there and watch the building fall on them. Didn't try to run, didn't try to move. And one of the dudes had wings. Didn't try to fly away, didn't try to scoop nobody up. They just sat there and was like it was the eclipse or something. They just, oh, okay. Oh, the building just gonna fall on us and we're gonna be all right. Crushed them. And Magneto, one funny thing, he grabbed the bullet train, and he started wearing that Sentinel. Slamming that thing up. I mean, he would tear that Sentinel up with that bullet train acting like a whip. Just anyway, so he gets knocked out. The Morlocks run to him. They holding on to him, and the train, another train tries to come, and not another train, but like debris, another huge train, the Sentinel knocked over. It's getting ready to hit the Morlocks, and Gambit takes his scarf, charges the scarf, that then touches the train that's coming for them, blows it up. I've never seen him do nothing like that. That was one of the dopest things I ever seen. Taking his scarf, stretching it out, using the charged scarf to touch the train to blow that up. Cold. So cold. And then that's when we hear Omega level threat detected. This word, hold on. Bo did your thing. Bo DeMaio, we know, excellent. He put his foot in this episode. But why you had this thing talking about Omega level threat detected? I thought we was supposed to get what we got with Thor. When they said it and they Omega level threat detected and she came and swept them up, I'm thinking Magneto was to go ham on them. Because once they say that mega level threat detected, we know it's about to go down. But apparently that ain't the case, because they detect him, mega level threat detected. They see him and he has a barrier around himself and the Morlocks. And then I guess he was just charging the shield. I don't know what he was doing and why all of a sudden it's an omega level threat. Like, what did he do to elicit that response that he didn't do before? But rather, it starts to shoot that dangerous green beam at him. He adds energy to his force field that's protecting him, and the Morlocks leech is grabbing onto him. And Rogue tries, she's like, Eric, no, don't you dare, Eric. She tries to fly, and Gambit snatches it back. He's like, nah, he's trying to save us, Chef. He's trying to save us. And Magneto uses his ability to wrap her and Gambit around a pole so they can't move nowhere. But we see, like, as he starts to pile all the metal on top of his shield to protect him and the Morlocks, we see a piece of him. He catches her eye, she catches his, and she's like, no, because she knows what's getting ready to happen. And he looks down at Leech. Leech looks up at him, and he says, Afskana Schnack. And that was German for don't be afraid. If you remember, like 2 minutes ago, Leech said, Magneto's going to save us, because he said Leech never has to be scared again. Go all the way back to episode 2. Magneto told him, I'm going to a place where you never have to be scared again. So the last words Magneto utters, and the last words that Leech hears is, don't be afraid. And then flash a light, Omega threat eliminated. You see, I got all black. That was tough. That was tough. And it don't get easier. Because after Magneto sacrifices himself to save Rogue and Gambit, Rogue charges out. She's pissed. So she's headed towards the Sentinel. Gambit gets on his bike, motorcycle, charges up. Throw it at most. He didn't have to toss the thing out like that. But he tosses the motorcycle, knock her out the way. The blast misses her narrowly. And the Sentinel focuses back on this rooftop where Nightcrawler is. I forgot to say, Nightcrawler saved Magneto and Rogue and Gambit, by the way, and kind of got towed up in the process earlier. So he's a little weakened, but he's on the rooftop with several other mutants, and the Sentinel is getting ready to blast them. And Gambit, he like, I see your bet, but Gambit raise it. And so he starts running. He grabs his staff, charges his staff, and he says, the cause always be in my favor. He jumps. He's getting ready to stab the Sentinel with his charged bow staff. And that's the sound. The Sentinel stabs him right in the abdomen, right before his attack lands. The Sentinel pulls him around. Intruder neutralized. And Gambit says, he starts to chuckle to himself. And then he says, the name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it. And in the process, he's charged. You remember, anything he touches, he's pierced right now. He charges the pierced part of the Sentinel that's connected to him. He charges it with his power, his energy, which lights up the entire Sentinel with his power. Blows him up. Blows the entire Sentinel up. Gambit dies along with it, obviously. Saves Genosha, or what was left of it. Saves Rogue. Saves the rest of the mutants that were there at the cost of himself. And if you remember what I said earlier in the episode when he told Nightcrawler, scoundrels like me, we don't get the white picket reward. And he didn't get the girl, which is crazy. The sad part, a lot of people have mentioned, the sad part is Rogue, although she was twirling with Magneto up in the air, she told Magneto some things are deeper than skin. Pretty much what Gambit told her. And she realized that she don't want him. She wanted Gambit. And he didn't even get to realize that she did. And at the end, she chose him. And he died not knowing that. Sadly. And so they pan the screen down. to her. She's holding him and she's ribbit, ribbit, oh sugar, I can't feel you. Oh my God. If I thought Gabby died broke me, that just crushed me. But that, I can't. And then it fades to black. I can't feel you. Oh, y'all, it broke me. It broke me. And I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. And it's just devastating. And it just leave us like that. Broken. They give us these beautiful, wonderful, exciting cameos just to snatch it like that from us. In episode 5, we barely halfway through the season, and this is what they do. Episode 5. I said it on Twitter. It went viral on my Twitter account, my personal Twitter account at Rock in Rollerson. It went viral, but I said that this episode was the MCU's equivalent to Game of Thrones' Red Wedding. Can't change my mind. You won't change my mind. That was this level impactful for a cartoon to do that, because I don't think people felt like they could take it there or they would take it there, but they took it there. And when I tell you, devastation doesn't even begin to truly get at how I feel like the fandom was. Everybody's just at a loss. If you go to the hashtag on Twitter, everybody's just in utter disbelief, utter disarray, utter despair. What is with me in these D words? I guess I love these D adjectives or something for tonight. I guess a lot of D words in the dictionary have negative or sad connotations to it. But man, it was our Red Wedding. So for our anime cartoon fans, X-Men fans, episode 5 of X-Men97, remember it. It's our Red Wedding. And I will not be changing my mind on that. And a lot of people agree, obviously, because it went not viral, but a lot of people agreed. Bo, the creator, obviously, of the show, or at least the first 2 seasons, he did what he did. He liked it too. He agreed because he knew what he was doing. He sat up here, he in the comments talking about, oh, y'all, this episode been in the works for 4 years. This is what he pitched to Marvel when he was bringing back X-Men97, or a part of that conversation. So if you follow him, he had a whole statement about why he did this episode. I won't go into that, but you can find it on his social media. But who y'all, this episode. And then I'll just move into the last thing. So there were a couple other things. There was 2 foreshadowing things that happened in the episode 1, but also there was one connection. There was another callback that I saw. Two callbacks actually. So the callback one was the Gambit, the name's Gambit. Remember it? Gambit said this in the X-Men animated series, the 90s version, when Sinister first captured them and they escaped in the Savage Lands. He said that line back then. So that was one callback. And this callback was from WandaVision. I can't feel you. Wanda said the same exact thing in WandaVision when she broke into the facility to go get Vision's body, and she saw him dismembered and lifeless, and she, does the little scan over his head, and she's just like, I can't feel you. So another connection between the MCU and the live MCU and now this cartoon version, because you remember earlier when I talked about this for episode 4, the callback to X-Men Last Stand with Forge, when he told Storm, you more than anyone know how fast the weather can change, which was a callback to X-Men Last Stand when he gonna be Professor Exec if I keep messing this up tonight. When Professor X told Storm, Halle Berry Storm, you of all people know how fast the weather can change. So I'm loving how they're linking the cartoon to so many of these live action sayings or phrases or moments, and I just thought it was just beautifully done. But 2 foreshadowing things, and I'm getting ready to wrap up. I done held y'all too long. I'm getting ready to wrap up. So if we remember, go back to season 1, episode 1, and you'll realize that when Storm and Cyclops go to get Boulevard to tell them where the last Sentinel or master mode is. They're talking, and Storm's like, well, your antics only, made people more sympathetic to our cause. And he was like, huh, is that what you think? Huh? Actually, he said tolerance. I'm going to say that tolerance is extinction. Let that sit in. Episode 1, Bolivar says to them, tolerance is extinction. Genosha being shown to the world. TT, that's Trish Tilby, the reporter, interviewing the X-Men to show them that they're more powerful than the average, that they're just like us. They're normal, everyday people too. They can, they're the good ones. They're the good, all that foolishness. All of that is tolerance. And that tolerance led to a massacre, a genocide of the mutant people on Genosha. Extinction, essentially. So that was geniusly put. Bo freaking DeMaio. You did that. He knows what he did because he even said it. Urgh. Then the other one, I'm sure there are tons of other Easter eggs too throughout the episodes. But this one, when Madeline accessed Cerebro, and she was trying to locate Master Mode. You remember she had that vision. She was twisted upside down, and she saw the head of that monster sentinel that was on Genosha in this episode. So obviously that was foretold, right? But if you pay attention, everything that Cable said on this episode, he said in episode 1, but he was saying, it was like a version of him that was saying the same thing, like, help, he's coming or something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I remember she had a vision with Cable in that vision when she was in Cerebro. So that lets me know that when Cable said, no, not again, it was meaning that he tried to contact her before, because that's his mom. He has a psychic connection. So it makes sense that he interrupted Cerebro to kind of get all this. Is just how everything weaves together, y'all. So good. So good. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have. That's the recap, y'all. Thank you, the listeners, viewers who stayed, stuck around. I appreciate you. It means a lot to me. If you have other friends, family that love X-Men that's also watching, please put them on. Please put them on. And y'all get in this chat. Don't have me sit up here talking. I need to give me a little bit of water after this. My mouth's so dry. Typically, I don't try to like to be this long, but this episode, I think it required it. It was needed because there was a lot going on in this episode. And I don't know where we go from here. There's speculation, well, clearly, somehow that things are going to get undone, with Cable. That means time travel is, I don't know. How do we get these people back? I don't know. Yeah. Whew. Well, listeners, viewers, ear hustlers, as I like to call y'all, my ear hustlers. Thank you for sticking around for another recap in our X Chat series for episode 5 recap of X-Men97. I will be back next week for episode 6, Life Death Part 2. That's when Storm get her power back. Hopefully. But until then, ear hustlers, we out of here. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.